I'm Sarah Fergani with KENS 5 News. Now, big news in the presidential race following last night's Super Tuesday results. Nikki Haley, the former governor of South Carolina, has dropped out of the GOP presidential race. Haley is former President Trump's sole rival. She lost every state but one, Vermont, in Super Tuesday's primary race. Trump took home 78% of the vote to earn the Republican nomination. On the Democratic side, President Biden took home 85% of the vote. His next closest challenger, Marianne Williamson, brought in just 4%. President Biden and former President Trump are now set to face each other in a rematch of the 2020 election. Texas is one of 15 states holding primaries. Some of the top races here include House District 23. The Democratic nomination went to Santos Limon, who earned 59% of the vote. However, on the Republican side of that race, incumbent Tony Gonzalez was forced into a runoff to try and keep his U.S. House seat. Gonzalez earned 45% of the vote, while Brandon Herrera earned 25%. That runoff will be held May 28th. And a big change for Texas House District 121 in the Republican primary. Mark LaHood got 53% of the vote, defeating incumbent Steve Allison. LaHood was endorsed by Governor Abbott and campaigned for school vouchers, something Allison was against. In the race for U.S. Senate, Congressman Colin Allred of Dallas declared victory, taking a substantial lead over State Senator Roland Gutierrez in the Democratic primary. Gutierrez has been a prominent advocate for the Uvalde community. Last night, he was surrounded by parents who lost their children in the tragedy. He conceded during a passionate speech to supporters and blamed Republicans Donald Trump, Greg Abbott, and Ted Cruz for what he said is inaction on several issues.
They have screwed us over on just about everything, just like they screwed over these families. Just like those cops stayed out there for 77 minutes because they were afraid of a gun. We're absolutely broken. That my fight against Ted Cruz isn't over, and my fight against Donald Trump isn't over, and my fight against these Republicans isn't over, because, folks, they don't give one damn red cent about you.
Now, Gutierrez did vocalize his support for his opponent, Congressman Colin Allred. Congressman Allred will now be facing off with Senator Ted Cruz come November. Cruz is hoping to secure a third term in office. Texas House Speaker Dade Phelan is facing a runoff election after failing to clear a majority of the votes in the statewide primary for his House seat. Last night, Phelan advanced to a runoff election race with David Covey, a former chairman of the Orange County Republican Party, who was endorsed by Attorney General Ken Paxton, Governor Abbott, and former President Trump. Covey took home 46%, while Phelan earned 43%. The runoff election happens May 28th. Now to the race for Bexar County Sheriff. Incumbent Javier Salazar took home 71% of the vote, ahead of his challenger, Sharon Rodriguez, who came in with 29%. Want to turn to other news now. Hear more questions about a deadly officer-involved shooting Monday on the city's east side. Officers tracked a robbery suspect to a home just 2 days ago. Police say 35-year-old Raymond Miralles pointed a gun at officers, so they shot him. But neighbors are telling us those warrants were years old, and officers started shooting just after arriving.
He doesn't deserve to die for that. It just feels like they were out to get him.
According to SAPD's critical incident policy, video of officer-involved shootings must be released within 30 days. This is the 7th police shooting in San Antonio since the start of this year. A man was badly burned in an overnight fire that ripped through multiple apartments. By the time firefighters made it to the complex off 410 in Ira Lee, there was significant damage to multiple apartment units. Several families were displaced. It is still unclear, though, how many exactly were impacted.
It looks like the damage is to be held to about 6 apartments total, 4 of them with fire damage and the other 2 with smoke and water damage. We are working with apartment management to try to relocate residents here on scene that are displaced.
Spokesperson also told us crews rescued a dog and searched for a person who was reportedly trapped. However, after combing the property, no one was found. As for the victim, that person was in the hospital now in serious condition. Police are also looking for a man they say robbed a Domino's Pizza at gunpoint on the city's northeast side. We want to take a good look at the man here. This is surveillance footage. Police say the robbery happened February 12th. Investigators told us he walked into the pizza store, pulled out a gun, and demanded money, then walked away with it. If you know anything, call police. They're paying up to $5,000 for tips that lead to an arrest. For today's forecast, Mireles.
All right, a lot of clouds today, but we'll see a little sunshine, kind of filtered sun, mostly to partly cloudy, high 84, and by 10 o'clock, 69.
And that's KINS 5 News Now. I'm Sarah Fergani. Thanks for joining me.